So I hear yourself asking or telling yourself, I am absolutely sick and tired of repeating myself. How many more times do I need to tell you this? We've been through this yesterday. We've been through this every day for the last 6 months. These are all of the thoughts that I hear from my clients when we talk about, why do I have to repeat myself? I tell him every day. The shower routine is the same every day. The school routine is the same every day. And there's resistance, there's not following the general rules or the structure or the routine. And I guess we often believe that this is wrong, inappropriate. It means that there's defiance in the mix. Sometimes people will go as far as to think, well, we've got some sort of defiant disorder going on because they're not listening to me. So I wanted to put your mind at rest, okay? This repetition aspect to your days with your children. So our child's brain is learning so much in their day-to-day life. So much. Okay. There's a lot going on. We forget that so quickly. We forget it. As soon as they tend to start talking, we tend to have this expectation that we can now have these adult conversations with them, that they'll understand consequences and they can analyze things. They can remember the consequences from a week ago, that they've got the language center and the understanding of what you're saying over and over again. And it's just not the case generally. So the fun fact is, for this one, the brain doesn't stop developing until the age of 26 on average for male and females. So at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we've still got a long way to go before we have that complete access to every part of the brain that has us be an adult. Okay, so we need to cut them some slack from that aspect. Also, in terms of repetition, so the repeating of the shower routine or the repeating of the consequences. Now, the brain is learning which pathways to take seriously through their childhood, and this only happens through repetition. So in fact, if you're wanting to teach your children a value or a consequence, either good or bad. Okay, consequences are not just bad. If you're wanting to teach them a life lesson or a routine, it's going to take repetition. If you think of the brain pathways and the body-mind connections, when they're just forming, they're like, what are they like? Let's just say they're like a cloud. Okay, because they're soft, they're malleable. You can whip through them and they can disappear. So if we don't repeat, then whatever you're trying to teach your children, then it's going to wipe away. The only way that it sticks, the only way that it stays is to repeat. And this is so it becomes a concrete highway. The brain pathway becomes a concrete highway. So if you can, in those moments that it's going to drive you bonkers, if you can think to yourself, this is repetition and I am now creating the concrete pathway in my child's brain, then that should be able to take some of the frustration away. Now, there are many other things we need to take into consideration if there's a lot of repetition. So sometimes if we've got trauma in place, if we've got sensory overload in place or happening, or we've got some things going on inside or outside of the home, we need to consider that. We need to understand some really deep underpinnings of how that little mind and nervous system is working, but that's not the purpose of this video. I'll go into that in another video. So for the sake of this one, repetition is cementing in that highway. It is allowing that action, that feeling, that structure to be cemented in. So it's not a negative thing. It's a positive thing, even though it'll drive you bonkers.